Hey everybody, welcome to the Labor Day Dirtcross 2023 drivers meeting. I'm Keto and
And I'm Katie.
there you go.
All right, so this is your virtual drivers meeting. You probably found this by way of an email. So be sure you read everything in that email, check out the final schedule, read all the details, watch this all the way through, just so you're prepared for the event. There's also a second video if this is your first or second or third rallycross. Just be sure to click through to the cone basics video just so you understand how to read cones, how the cones work. This event is a 2-day event.
2 days.
Half of the classes run on Saturday and half run on Sunday. So if you are registered just for your class, be sure to pay attention to what day you are racing. If you have also signed up for fun runs, you will be racing both days. So again, just pay attention to which day is your fun run day and which one is your race day. You only need to go through tech inspection one time. So you'll do it on the first day that you're there. And then the second day you've already passed. So all you need to do is just come check in with us and get your work assignment. So with that, when you show up at the venue, you will sign a waiver. You will pay $10. The venue charges a $10 entry fee. It's cash only. You'll
Per
get
person.
per person.
Mhm.
It is for the whole weekend.
Mhm.
So you'll get a wristband when you sign and pay. Just wear that wristband all weekend long if you're coming back both days. That way you don't have to sign and pay again. And then once you're through the gate, go ahead and find yourself a spot, get set up. The paddock area is also the camping area. And Hannegan, it fits everybody in, but it can get a little tight. So as you're setting up your paddock and your camping area, if you're camping, just be really mindful of the space around you. Take up as small of a footprint as you can. We'll help kind of direct traffic to make sure that happens, but just be considerate and thoughtful of everyone around you.
Mhm.
So you show up, you sign the waiver, you pay your $10, you get set up, and then it's time to go through tech inspection. So you want to get your car ready for tech and then go ahead and go through that. You want to talk about the checkpoints?
Yes, so have the car essentially race ready. So what that means is have the car empty, have your numbers and your stickers already on the car, your numbers on the car. Okay. Helmet. And then we also check the mechanical. We check, make sure that, essentially the wheels aren't going to fall off. And then for this event, we have a light protocol. So we're going to be checking to make sure that you have headlights, that you have tail lights, that you have brake lights, and that your hazard lights work. We'll have more on the reason for that a little later, but that will be checked during tech and it is required. I also suggest auxiliary lights, which are allowed in all classes. It will be useful.
Auxiliary lights are lights that are additional
Yes.
to the lights that come stock.
Yeah, like a LED light bar or some, halo lights or something like that.
Definitely. We've gotten a lot of questions recently, people showing up to events. Competitors must have their own helmet for competition. So be sure you check out the rules, read the requirements. It needs to have more than just a DOT stamp. It needs to meet the requirements in our rules. And you need to provide your own. We don't have enough helmets for drivers to check them out for competition. We just have a couple loaner helmets if somebody wants to do a ride along, and that's it.
Yep.
So please be sure you have your own helmet. Be sure you pack your own helmet. That's happened a couple times lately. People have forgotten their helmets. So just be sure to have a helmet. Once you get through tech inspection, you are going to come to check-in. At check-in, we check your driver's license. We confirm the number that you have on the side of your car. We confirm your class. And then we'll give you your work assignment, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And at that point, you can and should walk the course.
Yep. Yeah, make sure that there's a course open sign before you walk. Sometimes the times are a little fluid due to having the tractor or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. This venue, we do tractor before the event. And so we'll put up a course closed sign. And if that's the case, please don't enter the track. It's a safety issue. We don't want to run you over with a bulldozer.
Right.
So this event is a little different than normal. We start a little later in the day because there are 2 sessions, the second of which is a night session. So the way it works is session number 1 is your
there's 2 race sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also 2 work sessions.
Oh, I see. So
yes.
You could view it as 4 sessions.
Yes.
Either way.
Yeah.
So we'll talk you through
just to be clear.
There's a day session, and during the day session, you will have a race and a work period.
Mhm.
Then we'll take a dinner break, and then we'll have a night session where you will have a race and a work session as well. So you'll do everything sort of twice, where most events you race in the morning and work in the afternoon. You'll kind of repeat that 2 times. The deal with the dinner break is we will end whenever competition is over, and the break will go until the start time for night racing. We won't shorten up the break. How do I say this? We won't just have an hour-long break like we normally do. We actually have to wait for it to get dark so that you are racing in the dark.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Courses marked with cones.
Yes.
Be sure to watch that cone basic video, but your time is cumulative. So it's all of your laps around the track with any cone penalties, all aggregated throughout the course of the day. We don't have dropped runs. We do have local Wi-Fi you can access. There's a sign at our timing table, so you can pull it up on your phone. You'll be able to access it from grid and see all the times, see your standings, all of that. So it's your time to race. You're at the line. What do people need to know?
You need to have your helmet on with your chin strap attached, your seatbelts, windows need to be rolled up. You're allowed a 1-inch gap, and this is wherever there's a person. So if you have a passenger, the same applies to them. And then passenger cannot be holding any phones or cameras or anything loose like that in the car. The car will be red flagged, and you will receive a DNF for that run. So make sure that as a driver, there's no passengers violating that rule.
Yep. What if you are driving along and you see a red flag?
If you see a red flag, come to a stop as quickly as you can. You don't need to go skidding off course. Just come to a stop and wait for the course workers to come over and give you some direction as to what to do next, which is usually, go back to start or parade the course the rest of the way, whatever.
Yeah. We'll red flag you if maybe you're catching a car in front of you, or if there's something unsafe ahead of you.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you're the reason we gave you a red flag.
That's
and that
right.
could be because you have a DB.
That's right. So if you have a DB, we are going to shut you down. We don't want you to run the risk of rolling over. So we will get you off course. You'll have once you get off course, you'll have 10 minutes to fix it and get back to the start line for rerun. Excuse me, get one of those opportunities. So I suggest when you fix your DB that you maybe increase tire pressure or something to stop it from happening again, because the next time we will red flag you again, but it will be a DNF.
Yep.
Yes.
What happens if you are driving along the course and you see a cone down?
Well, you have 2 choices. You can just act as if that cone doesn't exist, because that's essentially what's going on. If the cone is already laying down on the side, it will not be assessed to you. So, if that gives you an opportunity to go a little shortcut, great. Otherwise, you stop and point at the cone and then get back on your pony because somebody's coming behind you quickly, and get to the finish. And we will give you a rerun for that that run. Yeah.
Yep. So Hannegan is a motocross track, which means that there's an arena with lights, there's jumps, there's all kinds of cool stuff. We will design a rallycross course within the venue.
Right.
Some of it will be like kind of through the trees. So there's all different kinds of surfaces, all different parts of the course. But the big thing that everyone gets really excited about are the jumps, because they make great pictures and it's exciting. However, you want to be really cautious and careful about how you approach those jumps. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I agree with that. The fast way is not to get big air. Somebody alluded that I tell people that because I'm afraid of heights, but that's not actually true. So the more time you spend with your wheels on the ground, making contact with the earth, the more time you're accelerating, braking, and turning. Which is what makes you fast. When you're in the air, you're waiting. So that you lose a little time that way. Also, if your vehicle isn't set up for it, you don't have, full rally suspension or likewise, your car is probably going to take a bit of a punishment for doing big air. So you will notice fast people are going to check up right before the jump. They're going to hug the contour of the surface, and they're going to skip along and be on the podium.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And a big part about this is, like we said, you have 2 sessions each day. So especially if you're doing fun runs on Saturday and racing on Sunday,
Yep.
you want to be really thoughtful and conservative with your
Right.
car because you want to make it to
Right.
the full race day on Sunday.
Right. To finish first you must finish. And, attrition is part of it, and especially like in stock classes, it's pretty hard on it. But, you can drive fast and be under control without big air and podium. If that's what you came to race to do is win, then that's probably how you're going to have to do it.
Yep. All right. So half of each session is a work assignment. And so your work assignment is required.
Mhm.
We will check you in before you go out on course. So just be sure to come with enough time to get checked in. If you don't perform your work assignment, you will be disqualified. And if you make a habit of that, we will ask you not to come back. It is a required part of the event.
Yes.
When you're out on course, you must wear an orange vest,
That's
not
right.
yellow, not green. Please wear orange. That way we know who's a course worker, who's a media person.
Right.
And you need to be on your feet at all times,
Mhm.
unless we communicate out to everyone that for some reason we're taking a tractor or a water break.
Mhm.
And what we want is for your eyes always to be on the car that is coming through your area. So you
Mhm.
should be kind of in motion all the time as you watch the cars come through.
Mhm.
Even if you're chatting with your counterparts, like just be sure you both are keeping your eyes on the cars. It's a safety issue. It's super important. And one thing to keep in mind is the fact that there is night racing at this event, which means you need to be a little bit further from the course than you would be in the day. We want to add a little bit more buffer just to make sure that we keep everyone really safe. So just especially at night racing, but always be extra heads up, be extra careful, paying attention.
Yeah. And with the elevation, especially night racing, you don't want to be downhill from the cars because if they go off course, they're going to be coming downhill. So try and be uphill. Also, it kind of gives you a boost. Gravity gives you a boost when you have to go shag a cone because you're coming down instead of trying to get
Then
up
you have to get back up.
Yeah, but you get down to the cone, set it, and then get back up. You can get around and take your time.
Yeah.
Get back up.
Each corner will have a captain. The captain is responsible for knowing where that corner starts and ends, what cones you all will be responsible for. They'll work with the captains to their right and left to make sure that everyone knows what they're responsible for. They'll also be the ones to have a radio. So if a cone gets hit, we will signal to them. They will call in the penalty to us at timing. At timing, we will confirm back that we heard that penalty. If you don't hear a confirmation, just wait a minute and then recall and make sure we heard it. As we send you out on course, captains will do a radio check just to make sure we have good radio communication.
Mhm.
And you are also responsible for the contents of your bucket. The bucket has your fire extinguisher and your red flag. The red flag should be on you at all times. So you want to have it curled up in your hand. Some people do put them in their pockets, but have it readily available. We saw someone at Rallycross Fest, even with it in their pocket, it was like hard for them to get out. So please be sure that you have it readily available because if we call red flag over the radio, we want to be sure you can whip it out quickly. And then know where your fire extinguisher is at all times. You don't have to be carrying that around the entire time, but you need to be able to quickly go get it should there be an incident.
Mhm.
And because there is day and night racing, you will be working at day and night, during day and night.
Mhm.
Daytime is probably going to be warm and sunny and wonderful. So, be prepared to wear a hat, sunscreen, bring tons of water, electrolytes, all of that. But then in the evenings, this is the Pacific Northwest. Once it gets dark, it might get kind of chilly. So also be prepared with like pants, sweatshirt, that sort of thing. So be sure, prepare for all kinds of elements and take care of yourself.
Right.
There's one extra super fun element to course working at this venue, and that is that they have watering hoses at each of the corners.
They do. They have hoses. They have a well and big tank and pump and hoses, and so we will be watering the course occasionally with those. So we will call out. It will only be the first couple or a couple comm stations at a time. We'll call out for you all to turn on the hoses and water, and we don't need puddling We just need, to get the surface wet to reduce the dust is what we're looking for. So no need to soak it. And so the idea is to just do it as quickly as we can and then move on to the next home station so they can water so we can get back to running as quickly as we can. Very unlikely we will be watering at night.
True.
So yeah, it just isn't likely. We'll probably water before it gets dark and it should hold.
Yep. The best way to not make friends is
Oh.
to completely soak your corner and make it a mud pit. So
Yeah.
just a little sprinkle.
Yeah, people won't like you after that.
Okay, so that's everything about racing. We will have a full drivers meeting also at the event. Be sure to check your schedule, that's required, and we'll talk about some of the specifics about using the lights to work course at night and some other event specific things. Lastly, some like housekeeping items. Like we said, camping is allowed. It's encouraged. It's a really fun venue to camp. So definitely feel free to do that.
No fire pits, but you are allowed to have propane for cooking, that kind of thing.
Have a grill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Grill. Mhm.
Yep, high fire risk. So just be super
Yep.
careful. Be really respectful. Pick up all your trash. The Hannegan loves that we always come through and not only pick up our own trash, but all the trash left behind by like motocrossers, like the tear offs and that sort of thing. So let's just keep the venue really nice and
Yep.
neat. Dogs are allowed, also encouraged.
Yes.
They can't go out on course with you, so have a plan during the day, and like keep in mind that it will be warm, so please have like a humane plan for them to be able to hang out and also enjoy their time. Maybe have someone come hang with them. You can't just like leave them in the
Yes.
car, leave them
Yes.
tied up. So
Yeah, and make sure they're on leashes.
they always have to be on a leash. You need to pick up after them.
Mhm.
And then pro tip, bring a headlamp, flashlights, maybe a little lantern, because when you are loading up at the end of the night, or if you need to do some work on your car in between runs, it is dark. And so any little lights that you can have for yourself to just kind of make sure you don't forget anything, miss anything, you'll be really happy that you did.
Yeah, you are also allowed to bring like a flashlight or a headlamp out on course. You have to leave it off when a car is coming. But like if you can't see a cone, you're more than welcome to turn on a flashlight real quick, make sure the cone's in its place, turn your flashlight back off. But please don't have them on when the drivers come by.
Yep, that's right.
Mhm.
All right, so that is everything.
Yep.
If you have any questions, you can reply back to the email we sent, or you can send us an email, info@NW Rally Association. Again, like we said, please be sure to read that email all the way through. Make sure if you have any questions, ask them well in advance of the event. We won't be able to respond once we're on site on Friday setting up. And I think that's everything.
That's it.
All right, we are looking forward to seeing you all. Can't wait for a great event.